didn't look so bad online, even though it's like this. It didn't look that bad.
And then you'll know. Okay. Am I recording? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Primas Podcast. I am Cindy. And that's my prima Jess.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm digging our looks today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We haven't recorded on a midday in a while. So I feel like the natural light is really like complementing my no makeup face.
Yeah, that's good. Do I look dark over here? Or should I use more lighting? Is it dark? Okay. Oh, there's a shadow now. Anyway, so today we are going to get you all right, primas y primos, because it's holiday season, and it's a time where some people might do the credit card thing and like, what do you call it when you do something bad with your credit card?
Like impulsive?
Yeah, but like max out
or max out.
Take out credit cards, or just. I've always wondered, like during the holidays, how people are still going to pay, like, how do you still pay your rent and then your car note and insurance, just all your bills, you know, like in life?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess, and then that's when I learned I was living in poverty level, because I'm like, there's no way I can afford my stuff and then to buy gifts. So my question has always been like, how do people do that? Do you know? Do you have a secret?
No, you're right. We grew up the same way, and I never understood that either, because we didn't have the means to do so. And I think that's why we still have that instilled in us, that like no gifting, right? Like we never gift each other, right, Prima? Like not even for the holidays or Christmas. Like it's just not in my nature to spend money like that, because I don't have it. And the little I do have, I'm like, I need to utilize it. But thanks to Mariela, like our financial coach, I remember talking to her about this, and she said like people who are those kind of people, and if they budget themselves, they should start in September, August, and then so when like November, December sales hit, they budget it within their like finance.
Yes, and she's actually a part of my solutions. So shout out to our finance coach, because we've learned so much in the little time that we've known her.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a solution, right? To like prepare, put a bucket, however your bucket looks. It can look like a savings account or like a box under your bed, whatever. And then start putting away holiday money so that you're not like, I even if I did gift, I still wouldn't be able to afford paying my whole rent and my phone bill. And I'm just like, people make a lot of money, more than me.
Yeah. And then it sucks because like all of our birthdays, like in my family, we're all around the holidays, you know? So it's just that double whammy. And I'm just like, I can't, even with my daughter, it starts like around Thanksgiving now. And I'm just like, nope, we're just going to do one thing, and no one's getting gifts from me anymore. The little that you guys were getting now is going to my daughter's birthday.
Yeah. But we have solutions to, you know, you can still give and participate. Do I look fluffy in the eyes? Because I have allergies. I feel fluffy. You know how you feel fluffy, but I don't. I look normal.
Yeah, you look normal to me.
So yes, and we're going to talk a little bit about, well, I want to open up with what is Black Friday, because it's coming up, and how you can make the most if you do participate. And then, so let's break down the psychology of Black Friday. So why is Black Friday such a big deal, do you think?
I would say, I think it's a big deal because people like ourselves want to capitalize on the savings, right? So like if a TV is typically $500, but I see it on Black Friday for $250, which is half the cost, I would say like, oh, well, I'll wait so I can save myself $250 for the exact same TV, the quality, the name brand, and etc. on that day.
Yes. So that's the biggest influencer behind Black Friday, is like, that's their biggest tactic, is that some companies even go as far as to price something starting in like, I guess after the summer, or I don't know when, to the original price, or they hike it up because they know they're going to bring it down during Black Friday. And so that's also going to obviously motivate people. We just see numbers, right? We're like, oh, I'm going to save on that. And so they capitalize on bringing people in through that method. Like, yeah, get what you would have paid double for half off. And they don't do it with everything. They do it with like main stuff, right? That's going to get people into the door.
Mostly like electronics or like appliances, right? I would say
everyone has Black Friday deals, right? Like airlines, like the obvious stuff, like electronics and toys and clothing, but like restaurants, Starbucks, like things that you wouldn't necessarily, they'll do something to participate because then they can bank in also on that cash flow. And so the other approaches used to reinforce like getting people into the door, and we're saying getting people into the door, but that's kind of like a metaphor now because really a lot of us do online shopping, so that doesn't exist anymore, right? To get people into the door.
Oh, you know what I also heard, that it's the ones online is Cyber Monday. You've heard of that? So instead of Black Friday, yeah, they have it, but more online specials or deals, or like that following Monday that comes after.
But I'm pretty sure their stores are going to make their products available that day online, because if not, I don't know the logistics of how Amazon comes in, but that's like the biggest market for online. But I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean? Like they have to have morphed into an online because most people now shop online.
Correct. Yeah. Especially with COVID.
I guess before the newer introduction was Cyber. I don't know the specifics, but I just know that they have to. They can't just expect people to come to the door. Some people will, but most shoppers are now doing it online and then ordering, right? Like they don't leave their house even. They don't have to. So the other approach is a scarcity approach. Do you know any examples? Or do you know what's
Yeah. Like, for example, I was just talking to one of my coworkers about this. She's actually in the market to buy a brand new vehicle. And she says that everything is saying it's out of stock. And I wonder, because then look, we're right around the corner for Black Friday. She's like, that's so weird. And I said, that is odd. How are they out of this whole model? It doesn't make sense. I've never heard that. So they're like, oh, well, if you want to pre-order and pre-sale, like we'll reserve it. So when it comes in, it's in transit. That's what they keep telling her. And I'm just like, huh?
They're like, we got some guys making it for you. So it's cool.
Yeah. And I was just,
that's new. So that's a new business approach. I don't know to what degree. We're not professionals, in any of this stuff, but we just released my mom's car this summer. And so I have to do all the work, right? And I remember them saying that because we were looking for a specific car and they're like, nope, everyone's out. And you're the second person, not the second, I think the third person that I hear this from, where it's like no cars, because we were looking for a specific model. This other person, completely different dealer, you know what I mean? And so they do this a lot with other things. So I'm wondering if now they're bringing it into, why not? Like the car business. People need cars. That's a big expense. If someone's going to buy a car, they know like that's a huge need versus a want. Because even if you wanted to, like it's expensive, right?
Correct.
So the scarcity approach is super effective because psychologically speaking, we're thinking this is going to be gone. Like what happened to toilet paper during the pandemic? That's a perfect example. Someone was like toilet paper and we all ran. And so the scarcity approach, they use things like for a limited time only, out of stock, pre-order now. The other ones are like, how they say like the first 500 buyers, the first blah, blah, blah. So these are all the different like, oh, okay, it's creating in our head like, oh, this is special. So I better get in line at 4 a.m. or the night before. Like we said, this doesn't happen as much anymore, right? But it's still the same mentality. People are still going to follow whatever orders to get what they want. And so the scarcity approach, Cabela's, they're kind of like a Dick's Sporting Goods, but for like more of a nature type. And so one of what they did was...
Say that again, Prima. I'm sorry. You
Cabela's?
Cabela's? Okay, you said it's like a sporting goods store?
Yeah, I've never been there, but I just saw this. where it said like the first 600 shoppers get like a secret tote bag and like some of the items that it would include. And one of the biggest items was a gun. It was a handgun. And people were like, I better get my gun for free. And so I just thought that was intense because I'm like, dang, we're just handing out guns because it's Black Friday, but you know. But again, it's to get people into the door because I'm not a gun person, but that's another one that's expensive. It's probably hard to get, but if you just come here, you know, you just get your gun from us because you were the 600, you know, part of the 600.
That's how they get you. Yeah. And they're targeting a certain audience, you know?
Yeah. The other one, remember like infomercials used to do this? It doesn't look like this anymore through our social media. Like the way that we consume advertisement is very different, but it's the same foundation of in the next 5 minutes, you got to call. If not, like we're done. And then they're showing you numbers like people are calling, and it's none of that is true. But that's to build like, if I don't call within the next 5 minutes, and that approach is don't think, do it now. It's literally, how can we shake you so that you don't rationalize? You don't even need this. Like my mom was a really good customer of like the ShamWow toallitas. We had those because she's like, I got to do it now. So that approach works so now advertisement is on our phones, right? It's through the media that we consume, which for the most part is through our phones. But there are still traditional forms of advertisement like billboards and signs and bus signs and like television and stuff. But most people do use their phones. And what people have gotten now is that, like, I don't know if you've noticed on Instagram, if like you see someone's outfit, they have the links.
Where you like a purchase
really easy. And so I don't know if it's like a millennial thing, but like in our state right now, in our state of being as Americans, we are very much into what is it called? Instant gratification. Where we need things right now. Amazon does it where it's just like order, push a few things on your phone, touch a few things on your phone, and then you can get what you want to your door within 24 hours.
Even
right?
sooner sometimes.
Oh, really? Yeah. So that's instant gratification. We want it and we want it now. And in our culture, that's huge. And social media and businesses are playing to that. Obviously, they're going to play to our weaknesses. And so something like if you see someone's, outfit and you're like, oh my God, those boots are so cute. We got you. Just click here and then click here and then click here. And the boots can be at your door within the next few hours. Yeah. And so that's another big one, because we want it now. We're not patient anymore.
That's true. And I like that we're talking about Black Friday because did you ever used to shop on Black Friday or have you ever?
I think no. I think I did by accident one time. But no, because it was too crowded. Like, remember the Glendale Galleria? You couldn't even find parking.
Yeah.
It was crazy. No.
I think I did it once also, if I'm not mistaken, like, in my early 1920. And I did go to the Glendale Galleria. And I remember going to like Forever 21. And I was like, I was working 2 jobs. So I was balling. I saved like a whole paycheck for this day, because I was like, let me see. And I remember buying like 50 items. And I was like, there must have been a system error in that like POS sale thing, because I must have got everything for like $100 and everything was like 75% off. But I had went like midnight or like 2 a.m. I remember like kind of staying up all night. And I think I might've went with one of my sisters and we were just taking everything. We're like, when do we, we don't shop like that. When do we ever buy clothes like that? And I just remember that one time and I just said it wasn't worth it because of the crowd. Like it took us longer to find parking than to actually do our shopping. It was just like shoulder to shoulder in the Galleria. And I was like, no, I like to socialize and stuff like that, but not when it comes like that. I don't even like shopping to begin with. And it's going to come in part of my solutions. But just to like randomly say like, oh, what can I get a sale on? What can I get a sale on when I really don't need it, you know?
Yep.
It's just a trippy, like, yeah, the psychology of it, you know? And I've seen people get like trampled in other states, you know, and that to me is like crazy how we get for a sale.
Yes. And the more, so let's say, for example, you go in there and you see this and you were young, right? When we did go, we were young. We were in our early 20s even. And you see something at Forever 21, which was our store, by the way. And you would go in and you get like 2 things, right? And if you're seeing those 2 things for $5, you're like, oh, then I can buy more. And it's in our nature to just be like, and then we just don't know. And we'll even spend more than we should because it makes sense to us, right? We're like, no, that makes sense. When else? Or we just justify the fact that we're going to spend more money because for whatever reason, and they know that, like big companies know that and study that. And so there's so many different ways that we're persuaded to spend so much on that day. The other one is businesses know that people start shopping so that they avoid kind of like the craziness that kind of started to happen back then. They'll start shopping for Christmas like way early now, like September, October. And I guess that's what businesses have been noticing. And so that's when they'll start doing those things like, okay, but how can we still get them to buy on Black Friday? Or, I mean, we've seen this all the time. You go into stores and you're like, it was literally, we're not even at Halloween yet. And they're already pushing Thanksgiving and Christmas on you in September, summer.
In August, I noticed Halloween stuff open, but then that's why throughout the year, and that's why I guess I caught on to like, it's not just this day because there's also Labor Day specials. There's also like these silly holidays, like President's Day specials and New Year's Day specials and, you know, out with the old, in with the new. And there's specials throughout the year, 4th of July specials, you know? So I hear like, yeah, like on Black Friday, they want to like monetize as much as possible. And I read this statistic, I have it written down here. On average, Black Friday shoppers spent $313 and saving about 69% of that. And that's from a 2018 statistic. So I think, yeah, going on 3 years ago, I think that number is well over 500 now.
Yeah, for sure. Things have gotten cheaper and more accessible. And so it's just going to cause us to make that impulsive decision. So
I think things actually went up though in cost. That's why. So I think it's more like double that in just 3 years. So that's why I'm like, imagine that. And imagine double that is $600. That's my car payment. That's essentially what people are wasting on material gifts. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like on things you don't even need. Like I'm buying you something. And what if you don't even want it or need it, you know? And it's like
so much waste.
You have to use it.
The packaging is waste. I don't know when it was. I think again, when I started to compare and just stress out when I did have to buy a gift, maybe it wasn't necessarily for Christmas, but for a birthday. And I'm like, you're the gift. We've made it so that it represents who you are. So it can't just be any gift, right? Because it's like, I'm not going to give this person, I don't want the whole world to know what my budget looks like. And I always just used to stress out because I'm like, I can't afford it.
Oh, that's the difference between you and I. I give things to people based off what I like. Because if they don't like it, then I'll regift it to myself.
No, yeah. I don't gift much, to be honest, at all. But
and you would though.
And I just want to say disclaimer because I was out in California recently and I got some feedback from my family. And one of my brothers says, you think like, I guess I don't think this, but this is how I come off is that like, I think things are so different and weird, but I'm the weird one. Mm-hmm. Cause he's like, people celebrate birthdays. It's okay. And I'm like, I do too. Or people, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I think I'm coming off that way. And I just want to make it clear that I'm very aware that I am the outlier. I am the black sheep. I am the weird one. Like, I know that. But I think, after hearing me, you're just kind of like, Cindy, like, people do these things and they live normal lives. And I'm like, how do they do it?
I know. You're really going to go off the grid one day. And it's like, I'm not even going to know your location when we do the podcast. It's just going to be like random ass. You're going to hotwire like one internet cafe spot. And like, how like hackers do that? Yeah. It's like, it's going to see your locations in Paris when obviously you're not.
I got to get a best friend hacker and then my life will be golden. It's going to happen. Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that I know that I'm weird. Don't do what I do. But it was just funny to hear, other people's perspective, because we always ask for feedback and we rarely get it. So when we do, I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, people do these things. It's okay. And I'm like, I know that. Okay. So the other way that they get us is through FOMO. Do you know what that is?
Yes, fear of missing out. That's a good one.
Yes, right? Because that's our weakness, is to miss out. I don't know why.
Social beings. Yeah, most of us, like you said, not all of us are social beings, and to not be included in that like conversation and to feel like the outsider, because a lot of people don't want to feel like you, Prima. They want to feel inclusive.
And let's unpack that a little. Because I'm like, I don't get it. No, but okay, sorry. So I don't feel that way. It's like I'm an alien. Tell us your ways. No, but like I really don't. So I get it, but I don't, right? Because for me, it's like, what do you feel when you feel missed out? Or you know what I mean? Because I like when people don't include me. Now, like I ask not to be included. I'm like, please don't. Like, I have too much going on.
Those group chats with the family.
I know. I'm like, please don't add me to a group chat. Like, that's so disrespectful. People are like, people do this, Cindy. This is how people keep in touch. So anyways, what do you feel? Like, is it a little bit of anxiety? Because it could be anything. Obviously, we're making fun of me, but like, it could be a Black Friday sale or oh, I got this thing, right? And it's like, well, I want to get it. So what does that feel like?
I would definitely associate that with anxiety, because it's unrelatable. You're like, actually, no. And I always take it back to, I think we are social beings, even though, we can live alone and we can do activities alone. In our human nature, we do want to be included. We always have to, we thrive in a community aspect, And even though this is something that's done individually, because you don't really go Black Friday shopping with people, it's like that anticipation, like, oh, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And I'm going to tell like my coworkers, I'm going to tell my family members, I'm going to tell my sisters and my mom, and, oh, what did you get? And exchange like conversation,
It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear that sometimes, or not hear it, but I would see it, like, it's okay. We're not missing out on much, It's the quality time. Cause like for me, I have a 4-day weekend, next weekend I have Thanksgiving and Black Friday off. So it's the quality. Like, I don't want to spend my day off going shopping, with my daughter. No, I'd rather do something, but that comes in my solutions. We'll talk about after.
No, but that's a good point. So you're saying people use this as a bonding time is what I'm hearing. Like, we've created, it's more than now, because you don't even participate in the shopping, but you still participate in some way, right? Where I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I don't talk about it. But no, I get that, and that's an important part, is to be, okay. So another one, this leads me to my next one, is, what is it called? It's like a in-group bias. So that's one way to explain it. In-group bias means people like people in their group and do not like those outside of their group. So think sports fans. I'm going to get along more with someone who goes for the Raiders, not me, but Jessica, because I'm a Raiders fan. It doesn't mean, like, I feel like my family, they're all Raider fans. They're very friendly Raider fans. Like, I remember some of the stuff from I try not to go back there anymore mentally, but on my human side. But no, I remember my brothers and my uncles used to look kind of intimidating and like all rated out, and they were super friendly. So I'm like, that's good that they're not the people that you see on the news that are like fighting, because they would still drink and stuff. And like, no, they would be very cool with the other fans, even if it was a Raider dominated event. So that's cool. I think that's cool. It's not normal. Not everyone's like that. But, you know, I think that's a good way to explain, like, Jessica's very violent. Who would have known? Yeah, but so the in-group, what you were saying reminds me of the in-group bias, which is also like the masses, we do what the masses do. And that comes from an evolutionary perspective where it's like a group of people, even if they weren't in your community, were running from a certain direction. You're like, oh, that's danger. And it could have been a stampede, it could have been weather, it could have been whatever. Or everyone's going this way, and this way was where water was, warmer weather, more habitable places. And so that's a psychological thing too, right? Like that comes from our evolutionary side. And that's cool that you brought that up, because I hadn't made that connection.
And that also reminds me of like social conformity, you know, like that alone. Like, yeah, you went into the deep psychology of like our mind and like the evolution aspect, but just a simple like social conformity, you know, like there's so many experiments done on that. And it's just in our nature to like eventually be in tune with everyone else around us. We just are like that for that reason you just explained. So well done, Prima.
For that reason, and for the reason also that if you weren't a part of the group, what would happen? And this happens in animal species as well. You're seen as danger, and we need to protect our group.
Correct.
And so, you know, there's that part too, right, of our primitive side where we'll listen to the other groups just in general, like why are they afraid of that side, or why are they going that way? And we'll kind of like copy as we see, you know, for the success of our lives, I guess. And then the other part is, I guess, getting too deep into it, right? Like now you're not thinking for yourself. You're building too much trust on the group. And maybe that's where we're at right now, where it's like you need to listen to yourself as well, because we don't need that level of safety anymore. Our safety is a little bit different now, right? Like some of the things that we hear now are so different than like a place to drink water, for example.
Yeah, back in our primitive days, like you said, like the cave days when we lived in caves.
Yeah, but we still act very primitive, as Robert Greene says. Like we'll still attack that person that's being different, that person that's, you're not in our group, you know, we're wary.
We would heated
bilingual problems
of you.
And I don't know how to pronounce anything. So yes, so that's a big part of it. So FOMO is fear of missing out, and this is magnified through social media now, because we're constantly seeing things, and social media plays to that 100%, right? Where it's like your friends are happy, right? That's what we feel like. Everyone's happy, everyone has great things, everyone's going on these great trips, but really that we start getting anxiety because it's like, well, I want to go on a trip, or I want that, I want to do. So that fear of missing out is huge right now as a marketing tactic for businesses, because they know we care what other people are doing.
Yeah. That being inclusive.
Do you have any? I saw a cool little fact. It said 69% of social media users experience FOMO. And that's
I think I do. Right? I do on the weekends when I see everyone turning up. I'm like, oh wow, like here I am asleep at 8:00. And I feel it sometimes, you know, like I'm happy, I'm content, but it's just like, oh, I used to do that.
We're afraid of missing out. And again, because it comes from our primitive side out of safety, we need to start making the connection that we are safe. We safer. People's situations are very different. And so we can calm that anxiety down, because everyone is doing mostly what everyone, like no one's really doing some crazy stuff. And if they are, like, they're playing to that role, right? Like there's a lot of influencers now that are doing extra stuff, but they're also like their mental health is suffering from trying to keep up.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of mental health stuff coming up now for social media. So we'll talk about that soon. And yeah, so people know that, Amazon knows that, Grubhub knows that, all of these huge corporations know what we fear. We fear missing out. We fear not being able to post a cool picture. We fear not being able to whatever, right? There's so much you can do with social media. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some
Solutions.
Because
All right.
yeah.
I had two already that I do to avoid, like when I do go shopping. And one of the solutions is make a list. Go in, and we've talked about this several times, but also like when you're doing this Black Friday shopping, do things that you actually need, right? Not want, to avoid that overspending, or like you were explaining earlier, that like momentum shopping, you know, like we don't need to buy in bulks, you know, today. Just do the things that you need. Like, oh yeah, well, my TV is broken. So, okay, I'm gonna put that on my list. But definitely making a list is the solution.
And sticking to it.
Yeah. I think I'm really good at that. I mean, it's taken a lot of time and practice, but I do it a lot. What put it into play was my grocery list, you know, every week. And I always tell my mom, and my mom's always like so annoying I can't go grocery shopping with her because she doesn't even have a list. She doesn't even like look at what she needs. And I was like, Mom, that like gives me anxiety that you don't know what you need to buy. You know, she just kind of goes in and is like, okay, let's go shopping. And I'm like,
My
I
mom does
have a
that
list.
too.
Yeah, it stresses me out, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that's your life. You want to live on the edge, lady? You do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sticking to your list. And remember, there's going to be a lot thrown at you. It's kind of like a mini Vegas trip, but in all of the stores, or even if you shop online, it's going to be like, bing, 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 try this, try, you know, you get this for half off for buying this. So there's going to be a lot thrown at you, and you need to be strong and stick to your list. One of my solutions was White Elephant or Secret Santa, which is, do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a Christmas thing. How's that a solution?
Because you don't have to buy for everybody. Like you take the pressure off if you just select, if all of your family goes in and says, all you have to do is buy for one person. And then you can even limit that pot. We've done it before in the family.
Yes.
Like $20, $30, or whatever you want. But now now you can get, and then, you know, you can write the stuff that you want. So people can go get that for you. So that's the solution.
Yeah, that is a good one. It does, because we're a big family. So instead of buying like 50 gifts for everyone and the kids, you know, it's like, nope, we're just buying one. That is a good one.
And it doesn't just come up in families, like at work, or if you're like sports groups, and they won't even call it Secret Santa because some people are not religious in that way. They're like, it's cool, there's white elephants. It's like, okay, it's same shit, right? Like we're still gonna spend money, but it'll start coming up. And I remember me being like, I can't afford it. Like, well, I don't want to be a part of this, and they're gonna think I'm a jerk. But yeah, so I think that's a good one, you know, where it's like, okay, I can spend $40 on someone, and that's it.
That's a good one.
And then prepare before. We kind of hinted at it in the beginning when you brought up our finance coach. Prepare. So like now I have different buckets for like traveling, for my summer trip, for whatever it is. Prepare as much as you can so that if you do kind of cash in on these Black Friday deals, like take a list that you've created that you're like, okay, I'm definitely going to get this one expensive thing and let me do it on Black Friday. You know, whatever it is, be strategic about it so that you're not throwing away all this money.
Exactly. I like that one. Preparing for it. Because I think both of us, you know, in this year, we're almost at the end of this year already. Started our financial budget like plan or journey, you know, and I think it's been very helpful, and it's made us see things in a different perspective when it comes to money and like budgeting, you know, like I use that word all the time. Like, nope, it's not in my budget. It's not in my budget. And to be honest, this year, Christmas is not on my budget either. I didn't, because I'm just like, nope.
Yeah. A more extreme solution is be a minimalist and just don't celebrate all of these consumer-filled holidays or whatever.
Not there yet. Mhm.
Yeah, and you are gonna get criticized, you're gonna get made fun of, but it's okay. It's not that serious. No, but yeah, so don't go into debt.
Another one of my solutions is make other plans on that day, and which is perfect because that's a impact right now. Thanksgiving's a very impacted holiday. Like, not only is my daughter's birthday around Thanksgiving now, other family members, so I do have plans on the 26th that do not involve going like Black Friday shopping. And I kind of like that, like, oh, it gives me something to look forward to besides this, so I thought that was a good one. Make plans that day.
Yeah, like go hiking, do a Friendsgiving or leftover whatever. Cool. So yes, that's what we got for you today. Happy holidays to you all. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any secrets on like how to save money or any psychology behind the marketing tricks. And
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks
Prima, for talking.
Hey.
Thanks for not fleeking on me, Prima.
Hey.
This episode was not about to happen, guys. You have no idea.
I got the time zones so wrong. I never do. It's always you who does it.
Cindy confused me with East Coast time. She's like, wait, we were going to do 10 p.m. Eastern time. And I was like, why would you even include Eastern time? Neither of us live there. Wait a minute. I wrote Easter time on my agenda. That was Cindy today.
It's just it's that time of the month, you guys. And my brain's like, pull it together. Just live to see the next day.
Yeah, take a moment. Each day for what it is.
Thanks,
Prima.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.